Panda Express wasn't always the empire of orange chicken we know today. It started as a humble family restaurant, soared into America's food courts, then almost faded under pressure. Criticized for being too American, too unhealthy, too outdated. But just when it seemed like the wok had cooled, Panda Express fired back with innovation, digital strategy, and bold menu revamps. From more staple to global brand, its journey is anything but ordinary. This is the roller coaster story of how a Chinese-American fast food chain rose, stumbled, and rose again stronger, smarter, and spicier than ever. Here's how their story began. Before it became a billion-dollar empire with over 2,000 locations, Panda Express began with something far simpler, a father's dream and a family's bond. In 1973, master chef Ming-Tsai Chun and his son Andrew Chun opened a humble sit-down restaurant in Pasadena, California. They called it Panda Inn. Unlike typical Chinese takeout joints of the time, Panda Inn emphasized traditional Mandarin and Sichuan dishes served in a family-style setting. It wasn't fast food, it was an experience. The Chuns wanted to introduce Americans to the richness of Chinese cuisine, not just as quick meals, but as a celebration of culture and community. Andrew, the more business-minded of the two, had a vision to expand their reach. And then came Peggy Chun, Andrew's wife, and a computer science PhD from the University of Missouri. Peggy wasn't just a supportive partner, she was a silent architect behind the brand's evolution. Her analytical skills and systems thinking laid the groundwork for what would become later a tech-savvy food empire. The turning point came in 1983, when the developer of the Glendale Galleria Mall asked Andrew to open a quick service version of Panda Inn. At the time, the idea of serving Chinese food in a mall food court was bold, almost laughable. Fast food was dominated by burgers, fries and pizza. But Andrew took the risk. With Peggy's help, they developed a model that could deliver Chinese dishes quickly without compromising flavor. That was the birth of Panda Express. By the late 1980s, Panda Express wasn't just a novelty, it was a sensation. Americans were falling in love with Chinese-inspired fast food, and Panda Express found its sweet spot by leaning into what the American palate craved: sweet, savory, fast and filling. The turning point? Orange chicken. Introduced in 1987 by chef Andy Cao, it was bold, sticky, crunchy, and just exotic enough to feel adventurous. It quickly became the brand's signature dish and still accounts for a large portion of their sales today. Orange chicken wasn't just food, it was a phenomenon. Strategic mall locations gave Panda Express the kind of visibility other fast food chains could only dream of. Malls in the 80s and 90s were cultural hubs. Being in the food court meant capturing foot traffic from teenagers, families, and working professionals, all in one place. The brand's bold red signage, open kitchen style, and enticing aromas drew people in like bees to honey. Behind the scenes, Peggy Chun was orchestrating a tech-driven revolution. Long before restaurant data was trendy, she was using her systems background to monitor performance, streamline operations, and scale smartly. Thanks to her, Panda Express became one of the first fast food chains to have custom in-house software tracking everything from sales to inventory to staffing. By the early 2000s, Panda Express wasn't just surviving, it was thriving. It opened its 100th location, then 500th, then 1000th in rapid succession. The formula was working. They had struck the perfect balance between Chinese roots and American tastes. The orange glow of success was everywhere. But success has a strange way of inviting new challenges. As Panda Express soared through the 2000s, cracks started to show. A new generation of consumers, more health conscious and socially aware, began questioning what they were eating. Critics slammed Panda Express for being too greasy, too salty, and not authentic enough. Food bloggers and cultural commentators accused the brand of watering down Chinese cuisine to cater to white American tastes. Suddenly, the orange chicken that once symbolized success was labeled a sugary, deep-fried health risk. The brand also faced the downside of its own saturation. With locations everywhere, from shopping malls to suburban corners, Panda Express began to lose the novelty that once made it special. Younger consumers were turning to fresh, customizable alternatives, places like Chipotle, Sweetgreen, or local poke shops. These restaurants offered transparency, clean labels, and menu flexibility, something Panda's static lineup was starting to lack. Then came social media. While it helped niche brands go viral, it also amplified criticism. Images of oily entrees in styrofoam containers didn't exactly fit into the Instagram perfect aesthetic. The food didn't look clean, and in an age where food presentation mattered just as much as taste, Panda Express began to feel old-fashioned. To make things worse, Gen Z and millennials were rejecting anything that didn't feel authentic or health-forward. Words like processed and MSG became red flags. Panda Express, once seen as a bridge between cultures, now risked being viewed as a relic of a bygone era. The momentum that once fueled its meteoric rise was slowing. Panda Express had reached a crossroads. The world was changing, and if the brand wanted to stay relevant, it had to change too. Instead of denying the critics, Panda Express listened, and then it pivoted. In 2014, the company launched the Panda Express Innovation Kitchen in Pasadena, returning to its roots while experimenting with the future. This wasn't just a restaurant, it was a lab, a space to test bold new dishes, gauge customer feedback, and reinvent the Panda experience. Out came new items like firecracker shrimp, wok smart bowls, and plant-based dishes developed in collaboration with brands like Beyond Meat. These weren't just gimmicks, they were deliberate attempts to modernize the menu while staying true to the brand's flavor profile. Peggy Chun's tech-first mindset came into play once again. The company revamped its digital presence, delivery app integration, online ordering, and the Panda Rewards loyalty program made the brand feel new again. It was no longer just about what you ate, it was about how you accessed it. The rebrand didn't stop at the menu. Visually, Panda Express restaurants got a facelift, cleaner interiors, modern logos, and open kitchens that allowed customers to see the food being freshly woked. Transparency, both literal and metaphorical, became a part of the brand identity. On the internal side, Panda Express doubled down on employee care, raising base pay above minimum wage, offering leadership development programs, and even providing scholarships. Culture became more than a buzzword, it became a competitive edge. Panda Express didn't just change, it evolved, and in doing so, it captured a new generation of diners who crave both flavor and integrity. Panda Express wasn't just back, it was expanding in directions nobody expected. First came the non-traditional locations, airports, universities, and military bases. These high-traffic spots exposed new audiences to the brand and made it part of everyday life. You weren't just grabbing lunch at a mall, you were seeing Panda Express at your college food court or in an airport terminal before a flight. Then came the global push. The brand opened locations in Canada, the Philippines, South Korea, and other parts of Asia. Each market brought unique challenges, but Panda Express approached them with cultural sensitivity, adapting spice levels, portion sizes, and even dishes to suit local tastes, all while maintaining its signature identity. What made Panda's second rise even more impressive was its balance between tradition and trend. Strategic collaborations like plant-based entrees with Beyond Meat, showing that the brand could play in the modern food landscape while staying true to its Chinese-American fusion roots. The company also leaned into community efforts, funding education programs, disaster relief, and supporting frontline workers during the pandemic. These moves positioned Panda Express as a brand with heart, not just a hunger for profit. By 2020, it was clear, Panda Express wasn't a relic, it was a global player, and it had earned its seat at the table. So, what sets Panda Express apart from every other fast food chain? First, the company remains proudly family-owned and completely debt-free. That rare independence has given the Churn family the freedom to think long-term. While most major restaurant brands are answering to shareholders or private equity firms demanding short-term profits, Panda Express has had the luxury of reinvesting deeply in its people, its technology, and its long-term vision. It's not just a business model, it's a mindset rooted in patience and principle. Second, Panda Express is a masterclass in reinvention. The brand has faced criticism, trends, and changing consumer habits head-on. Whether it was pivoting towards healthier options, embracing plant-based partnerships, launching loyalty apps, or upgrading their store designs to match a new generation's aesthetic, Panda never stood still. They proved that no brand is too old, too big, or too traditional to evolve. And that reinvention isn't a betrayal of your identity, it's a reaffirmation of it. And perhaps most significantly, Panda Express never tried to be something it wasn't. It never claimed to serve authentic Chinese food. Instead, it embraced its identity as Chinese American, a fusion of flavors, culture, and history. In a world that often demands black or white definitions, Panda Express chose the bold path of being both. For entrepreneurs, there's a deeper takeaway here. Panda Express didn't just survive, it thrived by listening, adapting, and staying rooted. Its story is about more than food. It's about family legacy, cultural pride, and a fearless commitment to growth. In the end, Panda Express teaches us that success isn't just about what you serve, it's about who you are while serving it. Panda Express didn't just beat the odds once, it did it twice. From a humble family restaurant in Pasadena to a nationwide phenomenon, then reinventing itself for a new generation. It's a rare story of flavor, family, and fearless evolution. In a fast food world obsessed with shortcuts, Panda Express chose the long road, investing in people, culture, and reinvention. Today, it stands not just as a business success, but as a cultural icon that never forgot its roots. The future? More innovation, more countries, and maybe even AI-powered kitchens. Now, if you enjoyed this journey, hit that like button, subscribe for more inspiring brand stories, and don't forget to leave a comment. What's your go-to Panda Express order? Because in the end, no matter how crowded the market gets, flavor, family, and foresight never goes out of style.